Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Ashley Has Life here today, and we're going to be talking about my diagnosis at 12 years old with lupus. So I remember it all started, me and my mom were visiting my aunt in New York City, and one of my cousins had ended up taking me shopping in New York. I remember it was like this back room, right? And like they had all the baby fat stuff. This is definitely telling my age right now. So it had all the baby fat stuff, all the apple bottom stuff, like all the stuff in the upstairs room. Now back in the day, I was only 12, so I don't know what they was really do. I don't know what was going on with that, but I know that they had the name brand stuff in the upstairs room. Okay, or I don't know. But I remember that my cousin had took me shopping, and I remember we ended up going to this Burger King. Now, I want to say, I don't think we were in like Chinatown area, but I don't even know where we were. But I remember we got Burger King, and I got like a Whopper Jr. or something like that. And it's crazy how I can remember this, because y'all know with my stroke, I don't be remembering things, but I remember this. Like, I remember this. So we got the Whopper Jr., and then we ended up coming back to the house. I remember coming back to the house, trying on my stuff, super excited. And then all of a sudden, like, I just started getting like super tired. And I was like, I just need to lay down for a second. I think it started like, oh, I'm not feeling good. Let me lay down. So I remember I go lay down, I think my mom and my aunt were still out shopping or something. And so we were back at the house, but I go lay down. And I just remember like asking for water. And so I remember drinking the water, and after I drank the water, it was like I could not get enough water. But it was like I was so tired, I could not even ask for the water, if that makes sense. I'm asleep the whole time till they get back. So at this time, I remember like my mom coming back, she checking on me, and I'm still like not trying to get up, I'm not trying to eat, and I'm still like super dehydrated, basically. And so I just remember like, it was really late at night. I just remember it was late at night, and somebody had the idea like, let's call the ambulance. Take in mind, my aunt lives on the 19th floor of this apartment building in New York City, and so it's like, okay, this is an experience. But I really, like, I was there, but I wasn't there. Like, I was so out of it. But I remember the ambulance people, the paramedics coming in there. They had I remember, let me tell you how I remember, because they had the little chair thing. And I think it was a conversation of like, they had to use the stairs because they couldn't take the elevator, or like the elevator, I don't know if it was like, it wasn't safe for them to take the elevator. Like, I guess if I was on it and it broke, I don't know. I remember going to Roosevelt Hospital. Don't ask me how I remember, but that's what I remember. I don't remember the ride. I don't remember none of that, but I remember getting there. And let me tell you something that I also remember. I remember that you had to pay for the TV. Like, they had like a change machine, or like it was the phone or the TV that you had to pay for. And it was like, bro. But anyway, that's New York City. And they couldn't come up with anything. It was like, you know, super tired, super fatigued, but they could not come up with anything or any reason as to why I was feeling like this. After we were going to New York, we were supposed to go to Philly. And so we left the hospital, and I remember us still going to Philly, right? Yes, we were going to Philly. So we got to Philly, and then that's where the chicken story comes in, because I remember it being like this whole spread of chicken. Now, take in mind, I have family in Philly, so every time we go to Philly, we eat like, it's this spread. They fried fish, greens, chicken, all kinds of stuff, right? But all the food being there, and me not wanting to eat anything, and I was still fatigued. Like, when I tell y'all, like, this is not like regular, like somebody's tired, like, this is like, I could barely keep my head up. Like, I don't think y'all understand the definition of this fatigue that I'm trying to tell y'all. It was crazy. So again, I remember going to the hospital and not getting any answers. It was no answers. So at that point, my mom was like, okay, we got to get back somehow. We ended up taking the bus back, and it was a question like, can she make it on the bus that long? You know what I'm saying? And I just remember the whole time on the bus, like I just slept on my mom. Like I laid in her lap to sleep. That's how fatigued I was. Like it was horrible. Like it was horrible. Like I was so sick, bro, and I didn't even know what was going on. So at that point, I don't even really feel like my muscle aches or anything like that really started developing. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it was slight, but it wasn't like what I'm about to get to. Okay, so we get back home, we go to the hospital. I'm in the hospital and I'm there, and it's like all these doctors. It's like all these doctors. I mean, every kind of doctor that you can think of, honey, is coming in and is like doing a little talk, and they're trying to run their little tests. I mean, neurology, everybody that you can think of. Because at this point, there are still no answers. You have a 12-year-old who is in pain, who is extremely fatigued and lethargic, and you have no answers. Like there's no diagnosis. Like my mom saying, oh, they're gonna have a rheumatologist come in. And so when the rheumatologist came in, it was like, oh, they were gonna try me on like the chemo drug. And being a young person, I guess I was like, do I have cancer? Like, is it like, you know, what? Like I didn't really understand, I guess you could say. And I remember when they said they were going to try it, it was like, huh? So they tried it and nothing happened, of course. But it was like, So then the tests were done, suggested by the rheumatologist to test for lupus. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so the numbers come back to show, okay, she has lupus. This is what the method of treatment that's going to happen. Finally, we have a diagnosis. After the diagnosis, I was treated with high doses of steroids, prednisone, okay? Prednisone. When I tell y'all, high doses of prednisone. So at this point, during this transition time, they started giving me the prednisone in the hospital that I'm in right now, okay? I am eating like crazy. I remember my aunt bought a cake. I tried to eat the entire cake. I remember some church friends of ours bought ribs, corn, and they might have bought another vegetable, but I just remember the ribs were from Costco, and I tried to eat the whole thing. The steroids were out of control, okay? All right. So at this point, they're like, okay, we need to transition her to Children's Hospital, which is in Richmond, okay? So I'm going to the Children's Hospital to be able to start occupational, OT, PT, physical therapy, occupational therapy, okay? So this is your things of like trying to learn how to dress yourself, how to wash yourself, how to eat, how to walk, period, okay? So you gotta keep in mind now, I have been basically bedridden like for 3 months, okay? All right? Okay. So we're trying to do all these things. And I remember getting to Children's Hospital and not even being able to start therapy right away because I was suffering from medically induced psychosis. What's that, you ask? Medically induced psychosis is a psychotic state that you're put in because of a medication that you're given. Okay? Okay? So, being that I was on such high doses of steroids, I was basically losing my freaking mind. So let me give you an example of some things that were happening during this medically induced state of psychosis. I'm seeing things crawling on the walls. I'm seeing all kinds of bugs and all kinds of stuff crawling on the wall. I remember people used to come in my room and I'd be like, do you see that? Do you see that? It's a bug. It's a bug. Get it. Like, I'm sure there's some people out here that know what I'm talking about. Like, bro, like, that was like the worst part of that part for me, because once again, this is something that I still remember. It's crazy how I can remember when I was crazy. I could see things on the wall that wasn't there. Stuff like coming from the closet. Like, I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy. I remember I felt like people were following me. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy, bro. I mean, God is so amazing, because clearly I can only imagine. Let me keep going. Let me keep going. So, all right. So I get to Children's Hospital. So eventually I'm able to go to rehabilitative therapy. I'm able to do all the stuff. And I remember Miss Overton. I remember she was like, what do you want? Is something, anything you need? And she, like, I wanted a scooter. So this is when scooters were all the rage. Take in mind, I just came from New York. Everybody in New York had a scooter. When I was younger, I don't know what it was, but it was like, I need a scooter. But now that I'm older, I'm like, why would I want a scooter? Because that's a lot of work. That's a lot of leg work. Boom, boom, boom. I had to have a scooter. And so Miss Overton got me a scooter. And like, it was like my goal. So my goal was like, oh, once you can start walking again, you can get on the scooter. And I remember we brought that scooter to therapy. We brought that scooter to therapy, honey. And by the end of the therapy, baby, I was on that scooter, okay? So, and actually I was featured in the Children's Hospital magazine. I'm gonna try to insert a picture so y'all can see it. But in that picture, I was on that scooter, y'all. I was on that scooter because I was determined to not give up. I was determined to fight for my life, to learn how to walk, eat, dress myself, wipe myself, all that stuff. So, y'all, I got to that scooter, I tell you that. But anyway, so after all this, I'm still being treated with the steroids. I'm eventually discharged because I'm at the point where I'm able to walk, you know, with minimal assistance. I'm able to kind of do things, you know, under the care of my parents, okay? So we get back to the house. Now, this is the point where I'm still on this medication, okay? So they always tell me this story. So I guess I was like, I had to go on, I remember I had to go on rides. Like, I wanted to go on car rides because I could not sleep. Prednisone, aka steroids, they give you a lot of energy, but they're like, to me, they're like uppers, because it's like, I could not sleep. If I had prednisone, I could not sleep. I could not sleep. And so it was like, I had to go on car rides to try to calm down. Like, I remember, like, my mom and my dad would just drive me all over the city of Richmond because I had to go on car rides. It was like, I did not want to get out the car. Like, so that was one thing. Then another thing is, when I was in the house, bruh, I used to feel like stuff was going to come out the closet on me. Like, I used to feel like something is about to pop out and get me. Like, a monster was going to come out the closet and get me. Okay? Then another thing is, a story that my parents always tell me is, I was really trying to go to the store, and I got my dad to take me to Best Buy. And he lost me in the store. Like, I was lost. Take in mind, I'm like 12, 13, you know, and I got lost in the store. And when he found me, he said I had all this stuff in the cart. Like, he said I had a bunch of like stuff in the cart. That was another thing that I remember, is like grabbing a bunch of like knick-knack stuff. Like, it's like it was like almost like an OCD type thing, you know, like I would like pick up anything and just like, oh, I need it. Take in mind, this is the medicine. This is not me. Like, this is the medicine. It's like, I had to have every little knick-knack. Another story like that, not getting lost. I ended up at Michael's somehow. And y'all know, maybe that's why I love Michael's now. But I ended up at Michael's, and I thought that people was following me. Like, I'm sure now looking back, they probably were just regular customers just trying to do their shopping. I thought it was people following me. Like, I thought that people were actually watching and following me. And like I said, now I know, like, it was the medicine. And once again, I had a cart full of knickknacks and all stuff that I didn't need, didn't know what I was going to do with it. Didn't know why I had it, but I just felt the need to put a bunch of stuff in the cart. It was just like, I gotta get it. Like, this is what medically induced psychosis can do to you. Like, it was crazy. So, that being said, I remember it got to the point where my doctor at the time suggested that, well, they didn't suggest it to me. Take in mind, I'm a minor at this point, and I remember going to MCV. Take in mind, I never really messed with MCV. Because that was kind of out of the jurisdiction, but I don't even know why that time we went to MCV. Like, maybe we thought like their specialists there were better, or I don't remember. But we ended up at MCV, which is a hospital in downtown Richmond, and I remember me thinking the nurses, like the techs, were vampires. When I tell y'all, I'm not making this stuff up. When I say it out loud, it sounds really, really psycho, but I cannot make this up. I thought that the nurses at the hospital were vampires. I'm not sure if that's why. I don't even know why we went to the doctor at the emergency room at that point, but I know in that emergency room, I knew that them people were vampires. And I remember them turning off the lights in the room and me thinking like, oh my God, if the lights out, they gonna get the vampires. It's gonna get me. Like, every time they came in, like they would come in to check the vitals, come in and do that stuff. I was like, the vampires are gonna get me, okay? So at that point, while we're at this hospital at the time, downtown, somehow they communicated to my parents that they thought it was a good idea that I be admitted to the psychiatric ward. So you want to admit me to the psychiatric ward because of some medicine that you put me on. You want to put me in the psychiatric ward because it's a medicine that you put me on. So you know that wasn't going down. That was getting cut point blank, period. So mom's dupes, stood her ground and was like, definitely not. She's not, psychotic, crazy, whatever. She needs to go home. It's the medicine that needs to be reduced. So this is the first part of the medicine being reduced, okay? Because she's saying this, the doctor is saying like, well, she needs to be on this dose, blah, 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 blah. Think about it. I'm only talking about prednisone, okay? So at this point, it's like, okay, well, maybe she needs to go see a psychologist, one of them, psychiatric, whatever, the doctor. So I ended up going to this doctor. It was a nice Indian lady. She's very sweet. I remember her, Dr. Atri, and she was really nice. She put me on a drug called Abilify. I don't know if you know about Abilify, but let me tell you, honey, them fools was really coming out the closet when I was taking that, honey. They was really coming out the closet on Abilify. No, I couldn't take it. Like, psychiatric drugs do not work with me. I think I might have took it for like 2 weeks. And at the point when I thought that Shrek was coming out the closet to take me back to Maryland, no, I couldn't do it. Like, it just wasn't working. And again, it wasn't that I needed medicine. It was that I needed my steroid dose lowered. Like, I needed the dose, but it was too high. Like, at that point, the lupus was, under control to where it was like, okay, I know that they were still managing it, but it was like, bruh, come on. Like, So what ended up happening was, after all this, I stopped that medicine. Still on the steroids, but it was like my doctor wasn't trying to like really like listen or like help. So mom's was like, we gotta leave the doctor. Take him out. I love this doctor. Like, I mean, he got me the diagnosis, all that. But it was like, okay, at some point, you gotta do what's right for the child or patient, okay? So it's like, if I'm telling you that the medicine is too much, you should do something about that, So at that point, when that doctor suggested that I be locked up in the psych ward, it was like, okay, we need to get a second opinion. So we ended up going to a specialist in Philly. Okay, so somehow my mom had found out about this person who had a lot of background and experience in lupus. They were in Philadelphia, so we went all the way to Philly to see this doctor. I remember it. And when we went to see the doctor, he basically was like, the dose is too high. Like, I mean, we went all the way to Philly for him to tell us the dose is too high, which you know how you already know, but you needed somebody in the medical field to say, yeah, the dose is too high. So he ended up putting me on a regimen to lower the dose of prednisone. And lo and behold, I stopped hallucinating. I stopped, the psychosis stopped. All of it stopped. I was like a normal kid again. And it's just like, it's just sad a little bit to see like the initial rheumatologist who did diagnose me, you know, like, I just wish that he would have kind of listened a little bit more to what we were saying, well, what my parents were saying, because it's like, I really liked that doctor. Like, he was so cool. Like, he was like, I mean, he's still, I believe, a great doctor. And like, he was really good with kids. I mean, he was pediatric, so he was great. It just was like at the end, which I didn't know till I got older. I didn't know this till I got older. But at the end, it was almost like, bro, like, what are you doing? As of today, right now, I take 8 milligrams of steroids. 8 milligrams of steroids. Taking mine, initially, we were in the thousands milligrams of steroids. So, yeah, that's my little story time about that. If you guys have any questions, make sure that you comment them below. Make sure that you like and subscribe. I mean, just subscribe. It's easy. Just press the button. You can click the bell for notifications. And I really appreciate you guys for watching. Really, if you have any questions, just make sure you comment below. If you want to hear anything in particular about lupus, about stroke, about cancer, just comment below and I will be sure to do my best to try to address it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.